otherwise known as the Second Anglo-Boer War, was fought from the 11th of October 1899 until the 31st of May 1902, between Great Britain and Ireland on the one hand, being the South African Republic, and the Orange Free State on another. The British war was supported by the troops of several regions of the British Empire, including Southern Africa, the Australian colonies, Canada, Newfoundland, and New Zealand. The war ended in victory for the British, and the capture of both republics would eventually be incorporated into the Union of South Africa in 1910. In September 1899, the British Colonial Secretary Joseph Chamberlain demanded full voting rights and representation for the outlanders residing in the Transvaal, Paul Kruger. The President in South African Republic issued an ultimatum on the 9th of October 1899, giving the British government 48 hours to withdraw all the troops from the borders of the Transvaal and the Orange Free State. Kruger had ordered the commandos to the Natal border in early September. The British had only had troops in garrison towns and far from the border, failing which the Transvaal, allied the Orange Free State, would declare the war on British government. The British government rejected the South African Republic's an ultimatum, resulting in the South African Republic and the Orange Free State declaring the war on Britain. The war had three distinct phases. In the first phase, the Boers mounted the preemptive strikes onto the British-held territory in Natal and the Cape Colony, besieging the British garrisons and Ladysmith, Mayfield King and Kimberley. The Boers won the series tacticals of victories, Colenso and Spionknop. In the second phase, after the introduction of greatly increased British troop numbers under the command of Lord Roberts, the British launched another offensive in the 1900 to relieve the sieges of the achieving success after Natal and the Cape Colony were secure. The British were able to invade the Transvaal, and the Republic's capital, Pretoria, was ultimately captured in 1900. In the third and final phase, beginning in March 1900, the Boers launched and protracted hard-fought guerrilla war against the British forces, lasting a further couple years. During the Boers raided the targets such as British troop columns, telegraph sites, railway storage depots, in an effort to cut off the supplies to the raiders. The British, now under the leadership of Lord Kitchener, respond with a scorched earth policy, destroying Boer farms and moving civilians into concentration camps. Some parts of the British press and the British government expected the campaign to be over within months, and the protracted war gradually became less popular, especially with the revelations about the conditions of concentration camps, where there are as many as 26,000 women and children died of diseases. The Boer forces managed to finally surrendered on the Saturday, the 31st of May 1902, with 54 of the 60 delegates from the Transvaal and Orange Free State voting to accept the terms of peace treaty. They were known as the Treaty of Engineering, and under provisions with two republics absorbed in the British Empire, with the promise of self-government in the future. The promise to fulfill the creation of the Union South African in 1910. The war had lasting effect on the region on British domestic politics for Britain, and the Second War of Boer was existence of the South African Republic and the Orange Free State independent Boer republics placed them within the British Empire. The Union of South Africa was established as a member in the Commonwealth in 1910. Carl August Reinhold D. was born in 1856 Germany. He was one of the earliest photojournalists, and his photograph of the Tower Bridge in London opening in 1894 was the impressive example of photojournalism of his time. The graffiti by both sides of the bedroom wall in the house recaptured the British forces of the Boer graffiti reads, "Don't forget Majuba boys." The British graffiti reads, "No fear, Bougers, no fear." Majuba was distraught British defeat in the First Boer War of 1881. A 4.7-inch gun known as Joe Chamberlain fired in the gun of the barrage on Majors Forestine. The barrage was one of the biggest since Sevastopol, but only served to warn the Boers of the immense of the British attack. I think Ryan Theory's work is great. I find it really good documentary work, and it shows how serious his work is, even though it was a very new idea in the 1800s.